Hi guys, Christina here. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about another tip that will help you guys reach your ideal client. Let's go. So in my previous video, I shared a tip about online groups and showing up where your ideal client hangs out. Whether it's Discord, whether it's Facebook groups, you name it. There's so many online groups. But I also wanted to share another tip. So I'm going to link above here my previous video about the online groups. You can watch it in my playlist because this follows through into this video. And basically this video, I'm going to share another tip about taking what you researched and learned about in your groups that you are following right now with your ideal clients. Now what you're going to do is all the points that you gathered from the online groups that you were following and engaging with, you're going to take all those points and you're going to make content out of it. And I know content is very hard to create sometimes, but you need to switch that mindset. Remember, this is us being helpful, being resourceful, because that's what content is. Content is there to help people solve a problem or make their day or entertainment or to inspire. There's so many ways to create content as well, whether it's video or text post, whatever you're comfortable with. But in the end, content creation, the goal of it is to provide value. So now that you've taken the time to go through these online groups, social listening and taking notes about what people are talking about, you can change all of that into topics to talk about. So I guess for an example is if somebody has anxiety. So what are some challenges that come up for anxiety? So let's just say somebody in the online group was having a challenge with social anxiety. So talking to people, they don't know how to talk. They're nervous when they're around people. They feel distant. They don't feel like they belong. So they feel scared because they feel everybody is against them. And that's part of the social anxiety. So you hear this individual on Facebook groups talking about, their experience on a bus ride. And normally they don't take a bus because of their social anxiety. So what can you do as a therapist, a counselor, to help this individual get over their social anxiety? Is there something there that you can bring to the table for this person? Is it a free resource? Is it a step-by-step action plan that this person can take? So these are things that you need to brainstorm, right? This is content creation. So you are creating content. You're not taking content from somebody else and reposting it. You are creating your own content around that topic that you saw that individual talking about. So now this is you putting your knowledge to the test, and this is where you bring knowledge and value to the table with what you already know. And when you share this with this individual, they will definitely be more enticed to following you or chatting with you because you're speaking their language. You have something for them that they see can help them. So this is why I say go online, go through these groups, read up on things, because you can't just play the assumption game. You can't assume that these are what social anxiety people deal with. everybody's different. Everybody has a different headspace, different thought process, different thought patterns. So, not every technique is going to work for people. So this is where you need to explore, your ideal client's headspace. You have to know where their pain points are, their desires, where do they want to be, how do they want to feel. You have to bring that result through feeling, right? And using your post can help that. Your content creation can help that through video posting, text posts, however you want to do it, whatever you're comfortable with. These points that you find in the online groups that you hang out with or hang out online, you know that these are their challenges. Why are they their challenges? Because they're talking about it, because they're looking for a solution. And this is where you step in and say, yes, I know how to solve your problem. And that's where you can either engage with them, talk it out with them, get some more insight, and you can use that and repurpose that for content too. You don't just have to go in the group and just help that person, because that person, there could be multiple of this person in the world. So you want to make sure that you're crafting content that, sure, it helps one person, but let's help the others as well. So you want to repurpose that content for your actual social media platform, whichever it is, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. But this is where you need to understand where your ideal client prefers to hang out. So maybe this person likes Facebook groups but is more active on Instagram. So this is where you need to figure out, where do I want to post my major content? And major content means main content. So where is the hub of your content? So maybe it's Instagram, because maybe a lot of the youngsters that you want to speak to are on Instagram. So you would post your main stuff there. And then in your Facebook groups, you can always repost any of the content there if you like, or just link them to your Instagram page where they can go and see insight. So those are some interesting ways that you can really use content to solve any challenging problems that these individuals are having. And remember, when you do this, you're solving a problem, which means you're providing them value, which means that you're building trust with them. So the know you, like you, and trust you factor. And this is key to developing a relationship, because then you could take it up to the next level where this individual might be interested into your services, or maybe your community groups that you have, programs that you have, courses, anything that you guys are offering. That's just going to bring it up another notch, that they will like to be more engaged with you. And this is how. Now that you found out where your people hang out online, and let's just say it's Instagram as your main platform to provide content on. So now what you want to do is you want to be very active and focused on Instagram, at least a couple times a week, maybe 3 times a week. Don't go overboard, because I know it can get very exhausting. Now, you learned about the Facebook online groups and Discord groups. Take all of that information that you found, and I'm sure that these individuals also have accounts on Instagram, and then you can craft the content however you like, whether it's a video post or a text post, onto Instagram. But what you want to do now, maybe on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis, however you think you will get best results from, but you want to create a poll that asks the following questions. What are you feeling right now? What is coming up for you that is keeping you up at night? What is stressing you out right now? And those are things that you want to bring up. how is your mental headspace today? And maybe that might be some triggering questions that can bring up any ideas for content, right? You want to make sure that the people that you bring from those online groups to your main profile, that is going to be where the content sits, you want to make sure that you are very engaged with the audience that you build on Instagram, on Facebook, however you want to set things up. But you have to make sure that you're engaging enough, that you're interacting with your people, that you're not ghosting them, you're not being quiet. You have to keep talking to them. They want to know that you're listening. And that they'll know you're listening if you're providing the right material for them. So you want to create content for them that aligns to their problem and provide some form of value. It doesn't have to be something big. It could be really small, that they can do, maybe in their life. One simple tip for a routine, or maybe a mindset shift to change their perception of the problem. Maybe that might help. But either way, these posts need to provide some form of value, whether it's to solve a physical problem or a mental problem or a mindset shift. That's pretty much how you want to address how you create content and how you come in to creating content. You don't want to just create content that you think will work. You need to know what your people need. You don't want to just create pretty pictures. You want to create something that they can take with them. So if they want to save the post because it has tips that they can refer back to, or maybe a journaling prompt that they want to refer back to. So these are items that they can take with them and refer back to whenever they need to. A pretty picture might not be able to do that for them. So keep that in mind. Pretty pictures are still good, trust me. They still make a difference, but it's about providing value. So make sure that you have that in mind. Even if you post a pretty picture, but your caption has 5 valuable points in it that will let them save the post for later, whenever they need it. So this is how you need to think when you're posting something. Don't rush to post something because you have to be present. You need to post something with a purpose. People come on social media to either be entertained, educated, or inspired. Those are the 3 things why people are on there. So really think about your content and what your content can do for this person. Do you want them to be educated? Do you want them to be entertained? Or do you just want to inspire them to try something different in their routine? These are things that you have to keep in mind when creating content. You can even categorize them if you think that's going to help you out. But those are 3 points that you want to have in the back of your head when you jump on social media. And I know just from being online on social media and interacting with therapists and counselors, I know many of you ladies are really in it for educating and inspiring. And there are times that I've seen some posts that were very entertaining but still provided educational points. So that is very, very valuable. So if you can somehow mix the 3 together, that would be very cool. But I know it's very hard to think creative when you're trying to run a business and talk to clients and the burnout comes through. I get it. Do your best though, because this is where it starts, right? This is where it starts at the very beginning, building content, building trust, getting people on board, and churning, a person that didn't really know you at all into somebody that actually wants to engage with you. So Really pay attention to the type of content that you post and ask yourself if these posts are going to provide value for this person. And when you're posting content, you want to ask yourself, is this what I'm best at? Because you want to cater your content to where you have the best knowledge at. You don't want to do something that is outside of your comfort zone. So keep it within mental health, that's fine. But if there's a certain topic that you're better at talking about, let's just say you're better at talking about anxiety. Talk about anxiety. Don't start trailing off into depression. Don't start trailing off into PTSD. Those other topics could be addressed by another therapist. You don't have to solve all the problems. You will be extremely exhausted and you want to stick to what you're best at. But you can expand later on in your topics, but focus on something first, something small that you can easily create content around and that you're confident in. You don't want to provide value that you're unsure of. So when you're developing content, just ask yourself, is this something that I'm really good at? Is this something that I can continue to share content on and talk highly of? Those are topics to really keep in mind, because you're doing online research, you're going to Facebook groups, Discord groups, you're collecting data and information from people that are expressing their challenges and stresses, but you need to look through all of these and filter through. Okay, I can't really talk about depression. I don't know enough about it, or I can't talk about PTSD because I don't have enough knowledge there. But I can talk about anxiety and I know exactly what this person is going through and how I can help. And that's the feeling that you want. So you need to hone in on that topic itself and then keep going with more things to talk about. And it's okay if you have to repeat yourself on some things. Sometimes people might miss your post. Now you can repost it again and repurpose it. Maybe word it a bit differently. These are really small things to keep in mind, but it will go a long way if you take this into action. And like I talked about earlier, you want to pick a topic to talk about. Don't go off on a tangent talking about something that's not related to mental health. So if you're talking about politics, don't talk about politics. You need to niche down, right? So the topics that you talk about are within mental health, but again, mental health is a very big section. Now you have to section it off into smaller sections. So talk about anxiety because you know that you have a lot that you can talk about and you're passionate about anxiety and you have a lot of experience behind you to support this. So in my eyes, you want to niche down your topic, at least at the beginning, so that you know that you can help this person out as much as they can. And you want to understand anxiety as much as possible. So you're going to go in and you're going to learn about anxiety. You're going to learn how to, overcome it, with the types of anxieties, why does anxiety come up, how to relieve it, all those different questions. But this is what I mean. You have to hone in on a certain niche topic so that it's very laser focused. And people will come to you because you're talking physically and mentally just about anxiety. And people will love that. So continue with doing that. You'll see that people will really come to you for that certain issue. And you'll feel much more comfortable talking about it because you have a lot of knowledge behind you. And then when posting all of your text posts, video posts, any other types of posts on Instagram, you want to make sure that you're using the hashtags that your ideal customer uses, because then it will come up in their feed, right? Now there's probably more to it now because of the Instagram changes. So some of it could be tied to keywords as well. So even in your captions, you want to use specific keywords that ideal customer uses. So you have to know the type of language that they speak, so that when the person searches this, they will find your post within the Explorer of Instagram, or anything when they're scrolling, anything that comes up when they're scrolling, because their feeds are catered to what they like. So that's something that I've just learned. There's more to it, but I'm still learning about the new Instagram changes and all those great things. But that's just something I wanted to share. So hashtags are still powerful, but you don't have to go overboard to share, 20 hashtags. You can cut it down to 5 or 10 hashtags, but make sure you do your research on the hashtags, because people follow certain hashtags, but are those the type of people you want to speak to, right? So make sure you take time to pick the certain hashtags that are going to help you stand out. Nothing too generic, get really specific with the hashtags, because it will help you in the long run when it comes to searching. So that is another tip for reaching out, or how to reach out to your ideal client. So thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and I will be more than happy to answer any of your questions. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hope that you stick around for more of my videos. See you around. Keep smiling. Bye.